Please don't suck, please don't suck, please don't suck, please don't suck. So we've had the first trailer for season 2 of Jessica Jones, and if you're wondering about my little intro there, let me be blunt about this. I need this to be good for 2 reasons. The first is Jessica Jones is my favorite show that Marvel Netflix has put out so far. It's also the last time that I think they put out a truly solid front-to-back product. And again, it's not perfect. There's probably 2 more episodes in the season than there needs to be. There's a bit of filler and the pacing drops towards the tail end because of that. But I still think it's a really solid piece of television. Unfortunately, every series since then has either sucked outright, Iron Fist, or started out promising and then either got weaker in the tail end, that's your Daredevil season 2 and your Luke Cage, or went completely off the rails in the tail end, which is the Defenders, or in the case of the Punisher, I couldn't finish it, and I might go back and try and finish Punisher because I've had enough of you folks tell me that it does get notably better in later on in the season. But I think, again, that speaks to me that at this point, the Netflix Marvel shows are training me that if the shows are good at all, they're good at the front end and then they fall apart. So when I wasn't being grabbed by the beginning of Punisher, I didn't have the faith that it was going to get better later because that's not what the pattern's been. So at this point, I'm rapidly losing faith in Marvel Netflix product, just as a thing. I'm not sure how much hope I have for Daredevil season 3 or any of the other shows at all at this point, but Jessica Jones, I really want the second season to be good. And what we see in this trailer is fairly promising, all things considered. First of all, she is just still on. Krysten Ritter really does this part extremely well. She's really good in it. She manages to be wonderfully abrasive to people around her and yet still be endearing to, at least to me, as an audience member. So that they strike that balance really well. We don't get a heck of a lot of plot detail in this. It's basically, she's back. Here's that attitude that she had before. Hope you liked it before because it's back again. And in my case, I did like it before, so I'm happy to see it back. I am a little bit concerned that it looks like they're going to be picking up the threads at the end of the first season about possibly looking into her origins. Now, my familiarity with Jessica Jones from the comics, because I have read some of them, is not so deep that I can say for certain whether or not the comics ever delved into the origin of her powers. I don't think they ever did, though. I think this is kind of new territory for the show to be exploring, which normally I would praise because it means you can potentially surprise even the folks who have read the comics by going a slightly different direction, mining some stuff that maybe hasn't been mined in the comics. But at the same time, really concerns me because inherently I don't care. I mean, where Jessica got her powers from is not a question that I particularly need to have answered. It has almost nothing to do with the appeal she holds for me as a character. I mean, functionally, the only reason her powers matter at all is she can take a punch better than most people. I mean, she's not a Luke Cage or an Iron Fist or a Daredevil level fighter. She can throw down, and it helps that people underestimate her. But, well, you know what? I'll just quote my partner on this. Her sarcasm is a more impressive superpower than her actual superpowers. And again, I like that she has superpowers, but they're just an element. They're an icing to me. They're not something I need delved into particularly. And the other reason I'm nervous about this is that trying to go a mystery story is where a lot of the Marvel Netflix shows have fallen down. I mean, they tried to build a whole lot of mystery and a whole lot of different shows around the Hand, and that never worked worth a darn. They did it a little bit with Luke Cage, trying to build this mystique with Diamondback, but the execution of that didn't work. Again, more of the Hand and the Defenders, and I just feel like mystery aspects and conspiracies and secrets is something that the Netflix shows keep going back to, but actually don't really do particularly well. There was not a whole ton of secrecy mystery in that first season of Daredevil. There was a little, but it didn't drive the story. Like, you had the introduction of the Hand with that one really cool ninja, and you had your hints at Fisk, and then he showed up, and he was basically exactly what you expected him to be. And Jessica Jones, again, was a deep dive into characters and their damage, and was not built around, you know, unveiling a mystery, even though she's a detective, and that would theoretically fit in. But the seasons that I've liked the best had that element in them the least. The seasons I really don't like leaned on it a lot harder. So the whole fact that that's present concerns me. Now, if I'm lucky, it doesn't drive the narrative excessively, because I want Jessica to get back on the job, because I have started reading, you know, the Alias. I haven't read her new stuff, and what's kind of really interesting is the way that different cases that she takes on, what they say about her place in the world in general, and also what they bring out of her and what they reveal about her as a character. So I think it's totally valid to just focus on, have her work a case for a while. I mean, it'd probably be hard to stretch it out a whole season, but just have her work a case a couple of episodes, and another case a couple of more episodes. And I'm about to get into something that is potentially a spoiler if you've been going out of your way to avoid any news about the second season. So if that's the case, you might want to bow out right now. But that is, we know Kilgrave returns in some capacity because there were images of David Tennant on the set. Whether he is just a memory or just sort of the lingering trauma for Jessica, or whether his powers, when they were boosted by his father, actually kind of literally put him in our mind to some degree, we don't really know. But, you know, that sort of thing would be a good through line to give us for the season, the lingering damage, the lingering consequences, which we also got a bit of a hint at, because, you know, she talks about, you know, having killed somebody, and that seems to really be weighing on her, as much as having done so in the moment, I'm sure was greatly cathartic, but she now has to deal with that. So I like that there are consequences. So I am still hopeful. I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous based on the track record for recent Netflix shows that just haven't worked for me personally. And I'm nervous because the one real strong hint we get at story and where it's going is something that I'm not interested in, and is the kind of thing these shows have been screwing up. So I'm still really hopeful. It's coming out in March, which will put it out around my birthday. So that'd be a wonderful birthday present if it's really good. Please. So those are my thoughts on the first trailer for season 2 of Jessica Jones. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast. That is available on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. I'm also on Half of the Punch Like a Girl podcast. That is a presentation of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. fireandwaterpodcast.com. And until next time, this council is adjourned.